What's up, y'all? It is March 14th, 2024. Hey, Neat, do you know what Alvin Robertson said when he was asked about Michael Jordan's one-sided relationship with Nike?
No, what'd he say?
They're like, man, they should probably change the company's name to Mikey. What's up, y'all? We are back and worse than ever. We are the HoopStorians. I am Tony Styles. That is unique over there.
What up?
Let's get into this day in NBA history, March 14th, 1954. Baltimore dropped a 65-54 decision at Milwaukee, giving the Bullets their 20th consecutive road loss for the season and making them the only NBA team to go an entire season without winning a game on the road. Do you think that's a feat that could ever be beaten again? Or do you think that feat even wasn't that impressive, being that they only played 20 games on the road back then?
First of all, why would you? You said they didn't win a single game on the road.
0-20 for the season on the road. Played 40 games that year for the season.
Um, I mean, out of 20 games, I can see somebody not. I could see a team realistically losing 20 road games. Out of an 82 game season,
Yeah.
out of a shortened season, though, that's just nuts. Comparatively, let's say like what if we had like a 60 game season, 40 game season, something like that. Do I see another team doing that? Probably not. I don't see it happening in a full season. I could see it in a shortened season. And I
Like a
know that sounds
lockout or something?
yeah, and I know that sounds crazy, like wow, but I think it's more so the amount of games that they get to play, the more practice, the more chemistry they get to develop. I think will prevent them from going a whole season without winning a single road game.
No. Yeah, I
No,
got you. So, no, I agree with you. I don't think an 82 game that you could lose every single road game. But teams like the Pistons this year did their best to disprove it. It's the same NBA history.
Yes.
So, anyways, though, um, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about greatest dynasties? You want to talk about anything else? You want to talk about more of the we done with the 90s? I hate this we done with the 90s shit. Hey, just example. Can I show you a video? We done with the night. Like in this, tell me if you see any leftiness from Jordan. You know, Jordan can't go left, dribble left, just anything like
We
that.
done with the 90s.
Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I led you to believe it was easy when it wasn't. Maybe I made you think my highlights started at the free throw line and not in the gym. Maybe I made you think that every shot I took was a game winner, that my game was built on flash and not fire. Maybe it's my fault that you didn't see that failure gave me strength, that my pain was my motivation. Maybe I destroyed the game, or maybe you're just making excuses.
Promethazine had clean, had codeine, had keys in your pocket, your lean. Chop the top off the planets, ain't no Lamborghini. My wife got me teaching around me. City swing. I rock that shit like it's a Persian on my chopper swing. Like Sydney swinging, my shit having tits underneath. Like Sydney swinging, my big titties be like double D. Emergency. Charging through it that she trying.
What are you listening to?
I wonder what kind of stuff began Mike in.
I don't know,
Um,
but
to your
I'll,
question though, did you ask me if I seen him use his left?
yeah. Did you see any leftness? You see any leftness go on?
Yeah, I seen him use his left a little bit, especially when he hits you with the. But yeah, I mean Jordan was able to use both of his hands. He wasn't much of
Want
a
a video?
dribbler, What
Yeah.
up?
What up,
But
though?
what up, dog? But what I was gonna say though
Shit,
is,
how you
yeah,
doing?
good. How are you?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard you the whole time.
Good, good. Whatever happened to that dude, the Verizon guy?
Looks like he's
uh,
still doing commercials.
hey, once they were able to hear him,
Huh?
they couldn't see him no more. That's what happened.
Oh, I gotta go over here. It's choppy.
Oh,
Let me
shocking.
cruise this way.
So
Oh,
Anyway,
see that moon in the back?
we do.
you got some on?
So we're gonna talk about some
What?
dynasties today. Or we're also gonna talk about Opie. Have you heard the people say we done with the 90s? What do you think about that before we get into
Done with the '90s?
dynasties?
No, I'm a '90s baby. Hell, we ain't done with the '90s.
No, but it's a movement
In a
that's saying
basketball
that,
team.
it's a
I, I,
movement now saying like
I
how
know, but I'm saying what I'm saying is we can't ever be done with the '90s because I came from that era. So you know what I'm saying?
He got the
So
90
how can we be
bias.
done
He
with
said
it?
we ain't having it.
No
I don't
movements,
know
no
how we don't
nothing.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't
You
know
don't
how they're
know.
done with it. Yeah, I don't know how we're done with anything. We're
They
not done
can't
with the
be.
50s, 60s, 70s, the 2000s, the 80s, none of that. The 10s. It's just it is the
Plus,
Realistic,
20s.
Kobe came out in the '90s, so
Yeah, Kobe was in the
they can't be done
90s.
with the '90s. That guy,
realistically speaking,
that's the
though,
guy right there.
realistically speaking, you can't be done with any error. Like for instance, as an athlete, every athlete needs to
Yeah,
take things from the seasons, the decades, and the eras before them because these are the things that you add to your game, you add to your repertoire in order to be a better player, be a greater player. So
okay.
it wouldn't even realistically make sense for a person's mindset if they're into the game for that mindset to be like, I'm only going to focus on this era, I'm only going to focus on this decade, when there's so much that you can take from each decade. It might not be, now we're all aware of the generational talents and everything like that, but at the same time, a great player is a great player in any era, and you can learn from great players. So it's kind of, for me, hard to be done with a decade when there's so much that can be taken from that decade, especially the 90s. So much went on in the 90s. I get people can be tired of hearing about it, but so much went on to where there's so much to learn.
Would
What do you say
you
this?
So
would
Ratings
you agree that's
dropped
when
after
the
the
NBA boomed?
Wait, what do you think? Ratings dropped for the NBA after 98. So many have been done with the 90s since then for that reason. What do you say to that?
I would have to look at the numbers to see because at this point in time, the ratings seem to be extremely high. And it's just like, wait, it said ratings drop after,
You
yeah.
saying right
I
now
mean,
the ratings are high?
I don't know about right
Yeah,
now,
I
but
don't
I'm
know.
saying I've seen the ratings be extremely high during an air, like doing, I say, '09 to like the Warriors run was over. You feel me? Like '09 to like 20,
Yeah.
to like 2019.
Speaking of dynasties, that's the best dynasty. Let's just skip all the
Oh,
bullshit.
wait,
That's
wait,
the
hold
best
on, hold on,
dynasty.
hold on, hold on, hold on. But
I mean, we can end it there if you want.
we
Show
can't
over.
end it there. But
What's the
what I was
best
gonna say though,
dynasty?
is we
What?
definitely need to look at the numbers though, because what it seems like is I can see how the argument can be made that after, Jordan won in '98, a lot of people started watching it because he was a favorite. And it took like people finding new favorites. You feel me? So once Kobe and Shaq were doing their
Yeah.
thing, yeah, the ratings went up again. People were watching that. You feel me? The rise of Rose, people were watching. They were
Oh, I
watching
get that. Yeah,
when the
okay.
Bulls were rising. They were watching when Golden State was winning. So I don't know that I
Right.
necessarily agree. I'd have to definitely check out the rating numbers, but I don't know if I necessarily agree that the ratings all out dropped after '98 because yeah, I mean there was still so much dope players that was going around. Why you smiling? What you thinking?
I'm just listening.
So,
So you yeah, no, the ratings dropped after Jordan because I think the Jordan marketing, but then in '01, I'd say they spiked again with the return of Jordan, and then now people are more familiar with Kobe and Shaq, and since I've actually been alive watching basketball, there's only been four really transcendent players, maybe four and a half we're at now, but the four were Kobe, Shaq, um, Jordan, and LeBron, and now we're at kind of Curry as well. So those are the only like truly like transcendent like into pop culture type
Hmm.
players. So I don't know why the ratings wouldn't peak in like 0102 when they had like three of those players in there. And then like
Yeah.
0304, same thing, three of those players in there. Rookie LeBron was still good. Old Jordan was still good. So I don't know. I guess is what I'm ultimately saying. What do you think, Opie?
I think he froze.
Oh.
Yeah, it looks
Well,
like he
yeah,
froze.
you have to come back. But what do you think about that? Or do you want to get into dynasties
Um,
after he said all?
I mean, I actually agree with that. Like, I do feel as though, like you, I was watching, I was seeing what was going on. I'm seeing things like and one players get added to the NBA. You feel me? I'm seeing even the marketing. You feel me? They started branching out. They started doing commercials that would introduce street ball and stuff like that. Um, Endorsements, they just keep increasing. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how endorsements increase, but nobody's watching.
And yeah, I don't know either. Maybe that's now maybe everybody's view is worth more than it was before. I don't have the answer for that either.
Or maybe it's
Maybe
because we got so many TVs nowadays, certain, multiple people watching from the same household. It's not being counted the same way, you feel me? So maybe, uh, but yeah. All right. Well,
Got me out here
oh,
looking
we
like
got Opie
double
back.
R.
yo,
Hey, you guys got me out here looking
Opie.
like double R.
Not you.
Double R. You guys got me looking like double R.
That's funny, bro. That's right.
No, it
Oh,
seems like
okay.
I gotta move
Oh,
around to get a connection on this bitch.
Oh
I don't
no.
know.
I got to move around to get a
Okay.
connection on this
Oh,
bitch.
let's get into the best dynasties ever.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, let's go.
let's get into it. So first off, Opie, what were you saying? Who's the best dynasty ever?
Gotta be, gotta be Curry in them.
You think Curry? So
Gotta be.
you think the Warriors were a dynasty, huh?
Yeah. Well, okay. What's your definition of a dynasty? Would it be? I'm thinking like controlling the NBA for a 10-year span.
A 10-year span? Dang,
Well,
that's
Not like
difficult.
well,
that. They
hold
didn't
on.
win
So
all those.
for
They didn't win all those years, but yeah, they've been the best. They were the best team for probably at least 8 years,
Yeah, he's talking
seven, eight
dominant.
years.
well, okay,
Okay.
so that's what I'm saying. So if we're going with that, and I'm not knocking you, I'm just trying to figure out whatever you guys consider because I could see a
What?
few teams borderline, and they're one of the teams, but I don't know. So dynasty to me would equal domination. Four out
Mhm.
of eight isn't
So what's your definition of a dynasty?
domination. That I don't know. I mean, at least
50% of the
three
time they're winning the
straight.
championship.
Yeah, I mean that's not domination. That's they're half the time
Fifty
they're
percent of the
losing.
time they're winning the championship. Half the
Yeah,
time
but I
they're
mean I
winning.
don't
Then
know.
why would you look at the net,
Like,
the glass half
okay,
empty?
well, I guess when I came into the NBA, I got spoiled because I got right there with Jordan. I saw 6 out of 8, and that was domination.
That's what you
So
want to see. You
yeah,
know what?
and then Bill Russell was domination. Shaq and Kobe 3 straight would be domination. But like I said, I understand if you want to lump some of these together. I understand if you want to lump some of LeBron's stuff together. I understand if you want to lump, like we want to do 80s Lakers, we want to do Duncan. I don't know. But you guys tell me, I'll bounce off you. But I mean, like by the numbers, to me, it'd just be like Lakers, Celtics, Bulls, and then Lakers again. And that'd really
Can
be my like
can there be
dynasty, dynasty.
can there be two dynasties that exist at the same time?
I mean, that would be rivals. So,
I
I
don't think
mean,
so.
all right. So the way I view
What? I
dynasties,
can.
is a period of time where you've shown dominance and you also excel. So that means you're winning. So in my opinion, I would look at a dynasty like, let's say out of like 5 years, you win 3 titles, or let's say out of 8 years, you win like 5 or 6. I would look at that like a dynasty. Russell won 80% of his career. Yes,
11 out of 13 is 84.6%.
and what's that? He
So you're
didn't he
saying
get 8 in
there's
a
only
row.
been
Russell was definitely on a team that you would consider a dynasty. You know how when you go,
so there's only been 2 dynasties ever.
no, not in my opinion. In my
No,
opinion,
no,
I
no, no,
mean,
no. I gave more than that. I gave 4, at least 4, by the way. But
and I add the Warriors to that because I agree with you. I agree with you as far as Boston being a dynasty team. Both of the Lakers, whether you want to go with Minneapolis or LA, those are both dynasty teams. Detroit
well,
is
I'm
not
just
on
gonna
my
say,
list.
well, I'm
I
just gonna,
did.
if you're going Warriors, then you got to go Spurs, Duncan Spurs, and then you
Well,
also got, and
That's
then
what
you
I was
all
talking about with the 2 existing at once.
right,
I
and
mean,
then
you
you
Yeah,
got
also
Spurs,
got to go,
they had a run.
and then you also got to go like 80s Lakers. I mean, you might even can probably go then 80s Celtics too, just not as long of period as the 80s Lakers. So I mean, I guess you could do something like that as well. I don't
I
know
can
if you want
tell
to
you.
lump if you want to lump Kobe's 5. Everybody always tries to say Kobe got 5 in 10 years. It was 5 in 11. I don't know why they always tried to say that, but yeah. So I don't know. So yeah, you guys tell me if
He's
you want
just
to
a
lump those
Kobe
in. There's
hater.
more.
Tony Styles over here is just a Kobe hater.
All
He
right,
is.
so
He's a
here,
Kobe hater. He
in,
knows he is.
in my
Yeah.
opinion,
Go
these are the dynasty teams.
Okay.
I would say Boston, the 80 Celtics. That was a dynasty team. That 81 to 86, that roster, that team.
No.
You said no?
I said okay. Yeah.
Oh, the Bulls. Whether you want to say what 91 to 98, I guess. Yeah, we can just do that whole run. The Bulls, obviously it's not 6 titles within
8
8
years.
seasons. Yeah, you feel me? That's a dynasty. The Spurs. Now the thing about the Spurs is the Spurs consistently had winning seasons. And when
Yeah.
you add consistent winning
They
seasons
got
with
5 though.
um, they get 5 or 4. But when you add winning seasons to also championship and title teams and stuff like that, in my opinion, that would constitute as a dynasty. And they got
Hey,
they got
the Spurs are literally 2 plays away from maybe winning 4 straight.
Say that again.
I said the Spurs
2
are
plays away.
literally 2 from maybe winning 4 straight. Literally.
Yeah. Well, the Lakers, they almost won. They could have won 4 straight. They didn't get 4-1.
Not well, that's not 2 plays. That's a
They
multitude
lost
of
that
plays.
series.
4-1.
Yeah, but that's a multitude of
4-1.
plays. Yeah, that's a multitude
If
of plays.
maybe if somebody showed up, then they need some buffers to show up.
They
Yeah.
did
They
though.
weren't practicing.
Shaq
They
did
weren't
show up,
practicing.
and they didn't go to him. Shaq's the
Shaq
only one that
tried to
showed
show
up.
up and then he was crying. Shaq's a
No.
crybaby.
Shaq's a
Mm.
He got all
crybaby.
fat. Yes, he got all fat and he got fat and switched teams and he was done after that. He got one.
No,
We got
he
one with D
switched.
Wade or whatever.
He ended up winning. Yeah, about to say he switched teams and
I
ended up
know he
winning.
got one. He got one. He got one with D Wade.
Exactly.
Yeah, that shit was for show. That shit was
Well,
for show, so the NBA got ratings.
well, no. Let's be real about that. D Wade
Shit was
worked for
fake.
that.
Shit set up.
Dwayne Wade earned that
Conspiracy
title.
theory.
He earned that title.
Conspiracy theory.
How so?
Who? D Wade?
Yeah. Do you not recall what D Wade was doing? D Wade came in blazing
Hey,
for rookie season.
Mr. Tony Styles.
Yeah.
I'm freezing up. Look at me, R. I don't get good reception out here. I'm in the boonies right now. I'm in the boonies right now.
Weak. He got that
What's that
Brazilian
face
body.
though? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I mean,
Can you
I
guys
can
hear what
hear
I'm
you
saying?
fine.
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Look at
Yes.
that face though.
Which face are we looking
I
at?
don't get good reception out here. Look, that's my
That's not his
reaction
face.
to you thinking. That's my reaction to you thinking. Shaq earned that title.
No. I didn't say Shaq earned the title. I said Wade earned that title. I'm saying Shaq was on the
No,
team.
Wade did his thing.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
all
I'll
I'm
put it this
saying.
I
way.
think Shaq got 20 and 10 or something.
Hey. I'll put it this way. Shaq earned that title as much as Kobe earned the first title in 2000.
Okay, agreed.
He did
But
play. He did play the number
but
2 guy.
when
By
is the
far
first? The
the
first
number
was in
2 guy.
2000.
Yeah.
So the first one was in 2000, and well, Kobe he just started to bloom at that point. So okay, we can go there.
Yeah, Kobe
And
had his.
Shaq,
He had his
just
growing.
started to decline.
That was right when Kobe started to do his thing.
And that's right when Shaq started not to do his thing. He was no longer
Do you
20 and
think
10.
it would have been a better move? Okay, let me ask you this. You remember when they were getting rid of one of the other, Shaq or Kobe? They were getting rid of one, right?
Yeah.
Right? Well, somebody
Right.
had to leave the team.
Yes.
So would it have been a better move for them to stay with Shaq or stay with Kobe?
Stay with Kobe.
Yeah, I'm with Tony on that one. I feel as
What?
though with Shaq, there's a potential for more titles. The thing about it though is his ethic, and that's not to
I
take
can't
away
hear
from
anything.
Shaq, because you put him anywhere
No
and he's
reception on here,
shown to
though.
be you put him anywhere and he's shown to be quite dominant. But at the same time, I don't know the type of leader that Shaq was compared to the type of leader Kobe was. We watched Kobe grow into a leader, where Shaq came in and everything was kind of handed to him. So when you walk in and you just that dude, you may not necessarily being the best player doesn't necessarily make you a leader. You feel me? You can be the best player of a team, but not be the leader of that team. And I'm not saying Shaq wasn't the leader, but I'm saying I feel as though Kobe was a better leader because he was able to teach things like the ethics, and he was able to get people on his page before he trusted them. So to answer his question, I feel as though it was a better move for the Lakers organization to keep Kobe over Shaq. But
Oh,
I feel as
absolutely.
though they would have seen some success keeping Shaq though. I do feel as though they probably would have won just as many titles with Shaq as they did with Kobe.
Not only that, too, in Shaq as well, he averaged like 14 and 11, I want to say, in the finals. And those are real numbers. So it's not like, he put up nothing, didn't play. It's not like it was a Mitch Richmond ring in 2002 or anything like that. No, he played. He averaged I think it was like 13.6 a game was what he averaged. So we'll just say 14 and 11, somewhere
Mhm.
around there. But yeah, so he played the real numbers. Like I said, Kobe, his first year he won the title, he averaged 15 in the finals and 36% from the field. So it counts as much as Kobe's. We always count Kobe's 5 rings. We never not say he's not a 5 champ. So Shaq's 4 count just as much.
Yeah, his score
And I'd
count.
say it's count more because obviously he was a 3-time Finals MVP versus 2, and put up better numbers in the finals when he won Finals MVP as well.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
So okay,
I was gonna
so
say,
so
oh yeah,
tell
I
me,
didn't even finish. All right, yeah, I didn't even finish as far as the teams that I consider to be a dynasty. So
yeah,
I know I
Oh
said
yeah,
the Bulls. Oh, we said the
my
Spurs,
back
right? I did
action.
say the Spurs. He's back. All right, so I said the Spurs. I did get through that one. Boston. One of the Boston teams, the 57 through the 69 Boston team. I feel as though that was another. Oh, we already talked
yeah.
about that.
11 and
Russell.
13 years.
Yeah,
11 and
yeah, yeah.
13 years. Yeah.
Who am I missing? Got a couple other teams. Oh, Golden State, from 2015 to 2022 even. I feel as though that's a dynasty. Part of the reason too. All right, now here's the thing with Golden State. Here's why I do have them as a dynasty. Even though there was a couple of titles that they lost, we all watched how it happened. You feel me? We watched
Hmm.
a team that had the best record lose. And it's just like, after you have that type of dominance, you're clearly considered the best team in the league. This is one of the criterias to be part of the dynasty. Um,
LeBron James.
those those consecutive playoff appearances, whether they won or not, but they won more than they lost. So that's another reason why I'm like, yeah, because Golden State in those years went to the final 6 times. They won 4. So
Yeah.
that's domination to me. So that's why I had that team as
What
one
about
of them.
what about LeBron making the playoffs 8 years straight? Making the finals, I'm
The
sorry,
thing about
finals
it
8
though,
years straight.
Making the player.
the thing about
Yeah.
it though, because we're talking teams, the
Finals.
thing about that is LeBron showed domination as a player, but that's not team domination. So that
True.
wouldn't be a dynasty. In
True,
order
true,
for it to
true.
be a dynasty, we need the whole
That's
team.
true.
What am I
That's
missing?
true.
Minneapolis Lakers. The 49 through 54, that little era where they won 5.
Yeah.
The
4
Lakers
straight. 1
from
point. Yeah.
right, exactly. The Lakers from 2000 to 2010 with the 5 titles within that
Yeah.
time frame. Yeah. So those are the
Yeah.
teams that I consider to be dynasty teams.
What about the Lakers
What's
from
every
79 through
what
88? 5 and 9 years.
I didn't say them. Wait,
I don't think you
79
did.
to 88.
Yeah. Magic's rookie year to
the
88.
Magic,
Then
the Magic era?
yeah, Magic.
I don't know. I say
Yeah.
them. Could have swore I
You
said them. If I
gotta go.
didn't, I didn't say them. Yeah, I actually did 1980 to 88 was the teams that I looked at as the dynasty. But yeah, so I knew I
Yeah,
had it
same
listed.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
9 seasons, 5
Yeah,
titles,
he said
9.
79.
Yeah. Yeah. But then they also went to a conference
5 and 8,
finals.
5 and 8 years.
Yeah, 5 and 9 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean
5 and 8.
that's domination because it's like every other season, if you're not
Yeah.
winning straight, consecutive seasons, every other season you're shoo in for a win. That's domination in my opinion, especially over that many seasons, over 8 seasons. Yeah, that's domination.
Okay, so rank who you got coming in last place out of all those teams? Because how many do we got now? We got the 50, we got the 60s, we have the 80s, we have the other 80s, we have the 90s, we have the other 90s team, that 90s team. We got 8 teams. Is that correct?
I think so. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, so who you got coming in 8th?
Ooh.
What about the 2000s and shit?
Okay, so
We
probably
named every team.
What?
Said we named every team. What do you mean?
You just said 50s, 60s, 70s. I'm sorry, you didn't say 70s, 80s twice.
I counted.
90s twice.
Because I counted through them all.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
We did. We
Okay,
did name. We named 8 teams. We named a Boston team from the 80s. We named a Boston team from the 50s to 60s.
The Warriors
Bulls.
teams is from the teens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
To answer your
We're
question,
good.
though, to answer your question, and Opie, you're not gonna like this. I apologize. I promise I'm a Kobe
What?
lover. I have the Lakers. I have the Lakers from 2000 to 2010 in my last spot. Really, it's not like it was an easy. It's not like it was an easy thing to decide. But for me, their win percentage wasn't as high. They have the lowest win percentage overall as 65. Sorry, 65.08 win percentage. And for me, we watched, and you bring it up often, how there was times where we watched Kobe kind of fall apart in the playoffs and stuff like that. They had to go through a rebuild. They had to go through that whole rebuild period after
they went through
Shaq
a rebuild for sure.
stuff like that. So it's like when you have to rebuild, even though it looks like a dominant run because they won 5 titles within that many seasons. They won 5 titles within 11
10 seasons.
10 seasons. They won
10.
They won 5 titles within 10 seasons. So just based off the
11
numbers,
seasons. 5 titles,
How's it
11
11?
seasons.
that's what it was, 11. All right,
Because
so 5 titles in 11 seasons. That's almost half. You feel me? So the way I look at it is, had they not gotten rid of
45.
Shaq, huh? Oh, but had they
I
not
said
gotten rid of
45.
Shaq, do we see them
45.
win
That's like
after they lost?
Kobe's shot percentage. Kobe's field goal percentage.
That's right.
You want Kobe's field goal percentage?
No, that's 45.
No.
For that whole time frame?
For his whole career, it's 45.
Okay. 29 titles. Okay, that's you. Which one of y'all
You
got
like the
titles?
meaning of?
Hey, Oakley, is that you?
You freezing? I lost my whole train of thought. What was I saying?
I don't know. We were talking to Kobe, five titles in
Yeah.
11 years.
All right.
Hey, but I have a
So I'll
question.
make it brief.
Is one role player, as in like a Fisher and a superstar Kobe and a coach, is that enough to make the dynasty? Is that all you need to link it?
It depends. Like, you feel me? If that's enough, you feel me? If one star player, somebody that's doing, some dirty work, or somebody that's, contributing, whether it's defensively or dishing a ball, and then you got a great head coach. If you're going on runs where you're winning titles with that core, yeah, that would count, because it's more than just winning. It's winning consecutively, or winning a lot within a short amount of time, or even if you go for a long extended time. It's really the comparison of how many years compared to how many titles. And then for dynasties, I do feel as though you need at least a star player, and at least a good head coach. I don't mean a good head coach, a legendary head coach, but I feel as though each dynasty team has more than one. I don't know that I feel like there's a dynasty team that just had one person that was doing all the work.
What I was also going to ask you this. Would you rather do something like where you won, like, would you rather do something like Spurs winning, where you win like 3 titles in 7 years, but every year you have a chance to win a title, or would you rather win like three straight like the Lakers, but some years you're out of the playoffs,
Yeah,
some years
fall off.
some years you're not getting, you're not making it out of the first round, you're getting swept in the second round, things like that. How would you rather win your titles?
I would rather win my titles on a dominant run. So I would rather, so even if I'm falling short, the fact that I can consistently be in the rankings, be in the runnings, if I can every year, well, here's the thing about that. I'm not saying that I will be cool with being number two every year, but I am saying I would prefer it if I have a career where every single year, or for a certain period of time, every year I'm winning over 50%, not even 50%. What was that? They're winning like what? 70%? Anyway, my point is, I'd rather have a career where I have winning records each year. So even if I fall short in the finals and something like that, it's like, okay, but they're a contender, and they've been a contender the whole time. So I would be cool with that. It'd be a sore spot if I had to deal with never winning. But so long as I can have some wins in there, like some titles in there, yeah, I'd much prefer to have the better record each season versus having three straight titles in a row and then we just completely fall off. And that's my legacy. Yeah, you got three titles and then you ain't do nothing after that.
So you'd rather do like the Spurs route, the longest stretch
Yeah,
of
I
50
think
win
I'd
season
rather,
in
I
NBA
think,
history.
huh?
The Spurs, you had the longest stretch of 50 win seasons in NBA history. You'd rather have something like that.
I'd
Five
rather have that.
titles and have, 20 plus years of winning 50 straight.
Yeah, I'd rather have that. I'd rather every time we went out there, okay, that team's making it to the playoffs. Like, I'd rather be that team where every season going into it, we going to the playoffs. And not only that, you're gonna have to see us in the finals. That is
Mhm.
domination to me. Now, if we're constantly losing, would this be a dynasty team still? Or is the wins, in my opinion, the wins are necessary. But I'm asking you, if every single season for 10 years straight, I'm making it to the finals, but I don't win, but every year I'm winning 50 games, 50 plus games, just for whatever reason, we're losing in game 7 in the finals, losing OT in the finals, double, whatever the case may be, however it plays out. Would you consider that to be a dynasty team, or do they need to to have some titles for that.
So by the numbers, no, no, I wouldn't. But the Spurs, if you do by the eye test and just see how it happened, like I said, they feel every bit the dynasty team. They seem like every year they were there. They're literally, I'll put it this way: they currently have 5 titles. They're literally 3 plays away, 2 plays away from probably winning. What would that be? 5 straight. Yeah, because they would have won 03, 04, 05, 6, 03, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Yeah, 5 straight. Um, and that would do 5 straight, and then another play in 13. That would put them back to back. So that's 5, 6, 8 titles. And then not only that, in 15, maybe if Paul doesn't make that shot in the first round, maybe they win that title too. There's just so many different maybe things about the Spurs that could have happened, and just a few plays away and all that. So yeah, if for this exercise, we can definitely throw them in the mix. Since like I said, we're throwing those Kobe team where it was just him plus no Shaq, and so that we can, if we're doing that, we can definitely do these guys.
Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I mean, and also the way I see it too, just the way that they did that, it's hard to not look at them as a dynasty team when they had so many contributing pieces. Whereas Pop didn't even have to necessarily make plays for people. It's kind of like, individual plays, you know what I mean? It's kind of like draw it up. All right, get what, you take what the defense is giving you, something like that. But very team oriented basketball. Move the ball around, get it to the person for the best shot. We're not doing these individual plays. That didn't even happen until Kawhi. It wasn't until after we saw what Kawhi was able to do in the finals that Pop decided to start drawing up plays for him. This man was able to get an MVP in the finals without no plays drawn up for him. I feel as though you can't do that unless you're on a dynasty team, because this is a team where everybody is working. You feel me? Um, I don't think anybody looked at Kawhi as the best player on that team going into that finals. And then you see in the finals, like, okay, he is looking like the best team and he's looking like the best player.
I still thought
That-
Duncan was the best player in those finals, but I get your point. Wait, so are you saying those Spurs is at your 7th place,
The Spurs,
or who's your 7th place?
that
Because you did the
Spurs
Kobe's,
team,
yeah, because you Kobe's
I
eighth
want to put that as
eighth
my
place.
seventh. I don't know if I want them as my seventh though. No, 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 no. The crazy thing is I have them higher. The crazy thing is my seventh. I think I want to put the Lakers as well. I think I want to put that Lakers that won the 5 titles and in the 50.
9 years. Oh
Yeah.
no, five in
I-
the 50 or 5 in the 50s. Okay, 4 straight.
Yep, they won 4 straight. And
Yeah,
let me see. Oh yeah. So the thing with that team is their percentage, they had a good winning percentage during that little run, 67% win during that little era. Um, Players like Mike and Mickelson. I just feel as though they're not my top team, but they're respect, there's got to be respect on that, just the fact that, I don't know, just that run, like that's a short period of time to win 5 titles in.
why don't you put it higher? I guess then would you say because it's the competition of being so early, or is it the way they faded out so fast? Is it because it was even before there was a shot clock?
The shot clock ain't had nothing to do with it, but it was, partially due to the fact that that run did kind of fade out, it did kind of fizzle out a little quickly, and let's be real, no slight against that era because I am under the impression that great players transcend every era, but at the same time, I also feel as though the league competition at that point in time,
Was less
1949 and
great.
1954, yeah, I think that's a less great era. Um, So that's really why.
Gotcha. I feel you. So, okay, well, who you got coming in at sixth?
Number 6. What do I got? Okay. So the number 6 team that I have, which is crazy, I have the Warriors. I have that Warriors team, which is crazy because that Warriors team could have very easily been my number 2. That could have, they could have very easily been my number 2. But they had some periods where, and it was only a couple, but they had them periods where it just looked like, do you really want to be here? Like, you feel me? They're showing dominant runs throughout the season, but for lack of better words, we're also watching them choke in the finals. They add KD, get rid of all of their other players, all of their, and I get it, salary cap. They had to, trim some fat in order to keep a KD type of player. But then now they no longer have strength in numbers. Now they just have these extremely talented players. But then we also seen what happened when they get hurt. Steph had no backup. So reasons like that is the reason why they're not higher on my list. Like, I don't feel as though that 73-9 team should have lost. They shouldn't have had to overcome the 3-1 against OKC, and they definitely wasn't supposed to turn around and give up that 3-1 lead to LeBron, or to Cleveland, I should say.
Wait, what happens if Cleveland's healthy in the 2015 with a healthy Kevin Love and a healthy Kyrie? What
If
happens
we're
in
being
2015?
if for the record, I'm a Warriors fan. So when I say this, I'm saying this from the place of somebody who, watched them even before Steph. Like, you feel me? I want a huge Warriors fan. I'm gonna get to where I'm getting. But to answer your question, I feel as though, honestly, my money was on Cleveland that first finals. I wanted the Warriors to win, but if I'm being honest, I expected Cleveland to win that first year. I expected Golden State to win the second year. So I feel as though their first two matchups was going to turn out to be split 1-1. So to answer your question, had Love been had he actually been healthy and had LeBron had more of his core with him, I think they would have beat Golden State that first year out. I think that loss though is what would have caused Golden State the next year to win.
But here, let's just say this. Let's say Golden State then loses the 3-1 lead again in 2016 this time. And then what happens to Golden State? What happens with LeBron? Does he just get stronger? Does Cleveland get stronger? Does Golden State bounce back? Do they still get KD? What
Yeah,
happens?
they would still get KD because, I mean, to be honest, had they won, they probably wouldn't have got KD. But I think that loss is partially what made them get KD. So to answer the question, healthy core for the Cavs to me equates to a victory that first year out. I think Golden State would have won the second year, but if they lost again, then we add KD and then we see them go on a run after that.
Gotcha.
So either way, I feel as though the Warriors would have still ended up a legacy team, is the point that I'm getting at. They would have had to win though, but I don't see Steph and KD in their prime losing. Like, they can lose, but I'm saying I don't see that being a losing team. You feel me? You get KD and Steph in a prime while they're both um one of the top 10 players in the league. Yeah, that's gonna equate to a lot of team success in my book.
The only thing that's really so great about them to me is their peak. They're absolute that 17 team. I just don't see how really any team beats them in a 7-game series. So that's just kind of where I'm
Because
at on.
they were shooting lights out. You got KD.
Yeah.
KD's playing great defense, and even Steph.
Mm.
Steph had been playing some solid defense. Like, he's known to be a defensive liability, but his defense gets better year by year.
He was getting
So
8 or 9 rebounds too in the finals that year.
yeah, exactly. So I think once they got KD, it was a wrap. Like they were going to win. You feel me? They won the two right off the bat. Had KD not got. I mean, I look at it this way: that Toronto season, Steph really, and this is no slight to Toronto. This is no disrespect to Toronto. I feel like Steph just needed one of them. Steph
Mhm.
and KD, they win that series. Period. Steph and Clay could have won that series. I feel as though Steph and Clay, they realistically could have made it happen. Um, so I say that to say that would have been a third in a row. And then, we already seen what they did in 2022. That would have been 4 titles regardless, is the point I'm getting at.
Do you think if Draymond didn't piss KD off, he stays and then they get 2020, 2021?
I do.
Or do
I
you think
do.
like Giannis overtakes them? Do you think Jokic overtakes them?
Jokic would have been an issue. The only reason I don't think Giannis overtakes them, and this is the only reason, is because and granted, had they gone up against Golden State, it probably would have played out a little differently. But I'm just going based on what it looked like when they were up against the Suns. And the Suns had them with their back against the wall. And we had to watch Giannis start taking over. And I don't think that would have been enough. You feel me? Because part of the reason why Giannis was able to bring his team back is because he was going. It seemed like he was going point for point with Cleveland, going point for point with Phoenix. During that last game, during that championship game. That's not something he would have been able to do with Golden State. Not
Mhm.
with Clay and Steph and KD. So you feel me? So hypothetically, if his other teammates weren't coming with it, he wasn't going to be enough to go against those three. And then, KD sticking defense, Dre trying to stick defense. So it was like it would have been a lot harder for him to try to will
But
himself.
Giannis that season also beat, KD, Kyrie, James Harden in a series too to get to the Suns.
Mhm. That was them trying to that wasn't a cohesive team yet though. That was a very talented team, but they hadn't had enough experience together as a team. They had experience, playing each other and, playing with each other, but they didn't have enough time as a team to develop that. Like this is a talented group, but you're not coming into it like KD going into Golden State. You feel me? It wasn't the same. It might have been the same talent wise, but it wasn't the same as far as the unit, and
A
that matters.
team, a unity.
That matters. It's kind of like LeBron and Wade. LeBron and Wade in their peaks, this will equate to victories, but you see that first season they couldn't win. They could make it, but they couldn't beat Dallas. So it's something like that. Just learning the other players around you. So to the point that you was making, I just feel as though that Brooklyn team, they weren't ready yet. Or yeah, that Nets team, they weren't ready yet.
Okay, well then who you got coming in at fifth?
At fifth, so I'm going with, and this is based on their win share. I'm going with or based on their wins. I'm going with the Celtics of 57 through 69. The Bill Russell Celtics, the 11 championship and 13 season Celtics. The
That's
team
number
that
one for me.
that's number one. Okay,
That's number one for me.
that's fair. That's fair.
Hmm. But keep going. Where you got him
All
fifth?
right. Yeah, because we run out of time. My bad. My bad. All right. So we at five. All right. Four. Um, this is where I had the Spurs. I had the Spurs at four. I had the Spurs from 99 to '07. I had them at number four because of all of them 50 win seasons, because of the type of domination we were seeing. Even if we're not looking at a dominant star, even though Tim Duncan he was dominant in different ways. He wasn't a dominant scorer, but he could have
How come
been
you
if he
didn't
wanted to.
extend it to 2014?
Um,
Because, that's like the, same coach, more of the same players were on the team in 2014, such as, Parker, Ginobili, and Duncan still.
the only reason I didn't extend it to 2014 is the era between of them, not winning.
Well, that's
It
what
was
I'm saying. What about the Kobe with the era in between of them not winning?
it wasn't as long of a stretch.
02 to '09, so 7 years.
At least it didn't seem like that long of a stretch. Like it seemed, I mean, they can, even though they went through that rebuilding period, this is during a time where Kobe was still argued and considered to be like the best player. They're still trying to debate on, is this LeBron's league? Is this Kobe's league? So it was like there was still some, and I don't know why the Spurs were slept on like that, but there were still so many eyes on Kobe and the Lakers to where they were the team to beat, even if they weren't the team to beat. And most people's eyes in the league, that was the team that they wanted to go up against. And I feel as though that's part of the reason. But ask an NBA player, they're probably gonna say the opposite. They're probably gonna say, no, 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 no. We always saw the Spurs as the team to beat. Um,
Yeah, well, that's why I'm asking you.
mm,
Because I would have the Spurs if we're doing that. I'd have the Spurs extended to 2014.
okay, and with 5 titles, what's that? All right,
Five
so
in 5 and 16 years.
see now I don't like that. I don't like 5 and 16 years. I'd be cool with 5 and 11 years, maybe even 5 and 12. 5 and 16 kind of drops it for me a little bit.
I got you. That's why they're four. Why do you got the Celtics at five though? They got the most, and they got the streak.
Oh, so for that one again, I mean, it kind of boils down again to, even though this was a stacked team, even though they were teaching us, as far as the game goes, a new style and everything like that.
Hmm.
I feel as though these other teams, honestly, that I have above them, up against that team would have won, in my opinion. So that's the reason why. I don't want to take any credit away from what they did, because that 11 and 13 seasons is nuts, and it's probably not going to happen again. But I also think part of it has to do with the talent around the league at that point in time as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's crazy. And all I got to say is never forget, dude. 9 and 30 on 32% shooting. That's what won that title in '59. All right, so give me your third. Give me your third greatest.
Third greatest, I am going with Magic, Kareem, Worthy, the 80s Lakers. I'm going with the Lakers that won the 5 titles between 1980 and 1988.
Yep, the
Um,
9 seasons. I got you. Okay.
yeah. I'm liking, them going up against Boston, the clash of Bird and Magic, the duel. Yeah, I'm going with them.
Why do you feel they're more special than the Spurs?
Part of it is wait, more special than the Spurs. Okay,
Hmm.
part of that is because Showtime, what Magic was capable of doing, it, even though this was like Magic as a rookie, what Magic was capable of doing, just the fact that he was able to stretch. So even though he has a team, even though he has other players that do their position, well, for the most part, he also is able to come in. Like, look at Magic. Magic, he's a point guard because he thinks pass first. But Magic isn't a traditional point guard. You feel me? This
Hmm.
is this is a I want to say a trendsetter, but that's not the word I wanted to use. But
A
Magic,
power forward body in
he's
a
a
point
hybrid.
guard's mind.
Magic, yeah, you feel me? So
Hmm.
it was stuff like that. I'm not putting it all on Magic, but what I'm more so saying is Magic is one individual who's able to give you a lot of what made the Spurs so great. What made the Spurs so great is them having all of them different players that can all come in and be like, here, all right, here's my part, here's my portion, here's my part. Whereas Magic is like, I can do all of this. And obviously he can't do it by himself, but it's the fact that you can get all of that in one player, and he's going to be a dominant scorer on top of that. So he's going to match with you as far as who's dishing the ball the most, who's getting the most assists, he's gonna match you. He might match your center in rebounds. He might match your whoever your star is. I mean, I don't want to necessarily say he gonna match him in points, but he can. You feel me? Magic can score when he wanted to. So stuff like that. I feel as though it would have been a tough run, but I feel as though that unit would have beat the Spurs. That's my opinion, but that's what I feel.
Yeah, I don't know. I think some of those Spurs teams just would have just mopped those Lakers teams, but we'll never
Maybe
know. I think Duncan was just so underrated how good he was. Just everything he did was just so great and efficient. Just love Duncan. Love the
there's no
shit out you.
stop for Duncan. You feel me? Duncan's gonna do him. It's would the Lakers have been able to pull the rest of them out of their zone? And I think, with the help of Riley and his coaching expertise, I think they might have been able to.
Well, all I know is Magic did that with somebody who literally has an argument for the greatest player of all time on the team in Kareem with him. And Duncan had a late first round pick as his second best player.
But that's also why I feel like they would lose too. To be honest, that's also why I feel like the Spurs will lose.
Maybe, so we could say maybe the Lakers or whatever, but yeah, I think Duncan is every much as the talent as Magic, just in a very different way. One of my favorite
Mhm.
stories about Magic is Magic's like, you know what Showtime is? He said Showtime's dribbling on the break, you looking left and passing right. And that's that's what he said Showtime was. All right, well, who you
Magic
got
is
second?
food.
So who you
Second.
got second? Second best. Yep.
Hey, don't Chicago fans don't hate me for this, but I got the Bulls. I got that 91 to 98 Bulls. Um, why are they number two instead of number one? The way I look at it is
Yeah,
this. The way I look at it is this. The Bulls showed dominance as far as the Eastern Conference, but I remember watching it. We all felt and we all knew to a certain extent. I can't say we knew because what do you know for certain? But we all knew that Mike was ready. We all knew that Mike was a killer and he was going to give you his best effort every time out. Thing about it though is the Bulls, I don't know for a fact they would have beat Houston. So, we're quick to argue that, the Bulls would have won 8 straight. I don't know. I want to believe that as a Bulls fan, I do, but I don't feel as though the Bulls dominated the West the way they appear to be dominating the East. No, correction. I feel as though they had a lot of competition in the East, and I feel as though sometimes going up against teams like the Knicks, going up against teams like Indiana, they're looking like they somewhat struggling at times. Not the whole era, not obviously not that whole time frame, but it's just there's times where they're definitely looking like they might not be able to beat those teams, let alone win a championship. But Mike always figured it out, pulled his team together. But I feel as though they had some great seasons from 91 to 98. We've seen them do some amazing things, but I don't necessarily feel like every year they looked like the most dominant team.
Okay, wait. So give us your number one.
Um, my number one, I'm actually going with Larry Bird, Celtics, the 81 Celtics to the 86. Even though they only won 3 titles, they did that within a three. I'm sorry, they won 3 titles within a 5 year span. So yeah, they talk about that Bird team. You feel me? He had one of the best. He had one of the best teams in there. He had one of the best teams in their history from 85 to 86. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's in my eye. But stuff like that. I feel as though the competition once again. Him going up against Bird, it was kind of an exciting. I mean, going up against Bird, going up against Magic, it was kind of a exciting thing. You know, they had the rivalries. I could have easily put them next to the Lakers as far as who I wanted my 1 and 2 to be, but you know, I look at it like I said, that was, in my opinion, that was a good little run for them. And even though it was the shorter run, they had the highest win percentage at that time too, as far as what they were doing in the finals.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree. I'd put that down at the bottom. That's a barely make it count dynasty for me. We got no back to back ones. We got no three straight. Obviously, we only got 3 rings, which I guess is the bare minimum we can even consider. Like that's crazy to me. That's strength of schedule. You love that strength of schedule shit right there. They beating the teams. They don't get me wrong. They did beat. They were going up against people like Moses Malone and Dr. J and Kareem and Magic and Mike.
I
So
mean,
there's 5 people that were considered. Oh, Hakeem. So
and they
there's 6 people
even
that's top 10. What's up?
they had they Hall of Famers too. You feel me? They got, they got the Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, Bill Walton. They got players like that. So
Yeah, I think those players are overrated though in the grand
you
scheme
think
of
they're
things.
overrated?
Yeah, like for example, Kevin McHale is like 17 and 7 a game for his career. He's also most of his career he comes off the bench, just like Manu Ginobili. If you're really good, like if you're a Jordan level player, a real Hall of Fame player, you don't come off the bench. You're too good to come off the bench. Your play will make you be started. So anyway, so yeah, so like McHale's off the bench. Robert Parrish is 14 and
These
9, and
people are playing within. I mean, all right, couple things. Were they overrated during this time period in your mind, or just their all-out career?
I think they're overrated for that. I think their eye test of how beautiful they all played together
Yeah.
overrated actually what their production really was.
Okay. Okay.
That's what
Okay.
I'm saying. I'm not saying they weren't efficient. They just were not strong volume producers. And if they were somewhere else, it would have been. It's really more of a testament to how great Larry Bird was. Larry Bird could get you 30 in a series and 9 rebounds, or he could get you 15 points and 15 rebounds. What do you need him to do?
Right.
So
Okay.
that kind of thing. But anyways,
Yeah.
that's out. We got for all the time. We
I
got unique with the Celtics as the greatest dynasty of all time. In the 80s, I'm gonna go no way. I'm gonna go the Celtics, the 11, and then we both have the Bulls at 6. So until then, we will see y'all tomorrow. Please like, subscribe,